I would like to welcome you to the Office of Traffic Safety's 2022 application workshop. My name is Nicole Osuna, and I am one of your program coordinators with the California Office of Traffic Safety. Thank you for joining us for our virtual presentation today. We will go ahead and start off with a word from our director.
I'm Barbara Rooney, Director of the Office of Traffic Safety. Welcome to the OTS grant application tutorial, and thank you for your interest in helping keep people safe on the road. The reality is we have a long way to go on the road to zero deaths. We continue to deal with thousands of lives lost every year on our roadways. And while we've made great progress, there is so much more to be done to really move the needle. And that's where you come in. We can only accomplish this through working with our partners. By being innovative in our approaches to combat the biggest traffic safety problems, exploring new and emerging technologies, but also continuing to do what works, that will drive us further toward our goal of zero deaths. Now, the real groundwork is done at the local level with agencies like you who have a fresh perspective on the traffic safety issues that you are experiencing in your communities. Speeding, impaired driving, bicycle and pedestrian safety, the same stubborn problems that need solutions, and all based on behaviors and the roadway environment. So I encourage you to be creative in your thinking. Look at new ways to solve the problems that we continue to face. We look forward to working with you to get a handle on these issues because one death is one death too many. We've seen far too much tragedy and trying times this past year as we simultaneously battle a global pandemic. So let's get to work, shall we?
The California Office of Traffic Safety's mission is to effectively administer traffic safety grants that deliver innovative programs and eliminate traffic fatalities and injuries on California roadways. OTS has been around for over 50 years. We administer grant funding provided by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to reduce serious injuries and fatalities on all of California's roads. Our typical annual budget is around $90 million. While this may sound like a lot of money, California is a large state, and we need this money to fund over 300 grants per year. The money goes quickly, and we want to get the greatest impact we can with our limited funds. So it's important that OTS utilizes data to identify the significant causes of crashes. Our job at OTS is to act as a liaison with NHTSA. OTS acts as the pass-through agency for these federal funds. Each year, OTS develops a highway safety plan, which is combined of all the proposed grants for funding in that year. We first submit it to the California State Transportation Agency for review and recommendations, and then to NHTSA for approval. Our office is also in charge of the annual performance report. This is OTS's report to NHTSA after a grant year has ended. The report includes grant accomplishments, highlights, and goals that have been attained. Program coordinators are responsible for coordinating, monitoring, and evaluating grant program activities and the cost at the state level. The state and national data comes from the Fatality Analysis Reporting System, or also known as FARS. Here is the California versus national data for total traffic fatalities. In order to be eligible for funding, applicants must be a political subdivision of the state. For example, a county, state, or local government, law enforcement agencies, public health departments, fire departments, judicial agencies. Joint power authorities are also eligible to apply. They are multiple government entities that come together to serve a purpose. A majority of the OTS grants are awarded to law enforcement agencies, the biggest recipient being CHP. Next up is our grant funding cycle. This cycle starts in December when applications are available on the OTS website. In January, applications are due and must be submitted to the Office of Traffic Safety electronically by January 31st. February through April is our application review time. And in May, new grants are announced. June through August, grant agreements are then developed, with them being implemented in October. This page lists the OTS program areas as well as coordinators who can be contacted. As you can see, we have enforcement programs as well as education and emergency medical services. These are the program areas that OTS currently funds. We will go into each one of them, some a little more than others. For the majority of the program areas, OTS will continue to fund agencies for both enforcement and education because they are countermeasures that have proven to be effective. Our program areas include alcohol impaired driving, distracted driving, drug impaired driving, emergency medical services, motorcycle safety, occupant protection, pedestrian and bicycle safety, police traffic services, and traffic records. As you can see by the alcohol impaired traffic fatalities, California has seen a decrease from 2018 to 2019. We are also experiencing the same decrease on a national level. About 20% of drivers test positive for at least one drug in their system. This is up from 16.3% back in 2007. California legalized recreational marijuana as of January 2017, and recreational sales started in January 2018. Impaired driving is impaired driving, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or a combination of both. While we have the data to show a decrease in DUI alcohol, we know there is a growing issue of legal, prescription, and illicit drug use on the road. We have also seen an increase in collisions in states that have legalized marijuana. There are challenges with prosecuting marijuana cases. With alcohol, there is a per se limit of 0.08. With cannabis, there is no per se limit for the amount of THC, which is the active component in cannabis. Also, there is a perception amongst some of the public that it is just as safe, if not safer, to drive under the influence of cannabis. OTS would like to see applications with new and innovative educational approaches to change the public's perception on drug-impaired driving. Alcohol-impaired driving is one of California's biggest problems. Because of this, we have programs that focus on high visibility enforcement activities, education and public awareness, training, probation, as well as DUI courts. We encourage local agencies to provide education to schools and their communities about the dangers of impaired driving. Priorities in the drug-impaired driving programs are quite similar. This again includes education and public awareness, training and certification, such as the SFST, A-RIDE, and DRE training, as well as vertical prosecution. Currently, OTS programs do not include drug-impaired only enforcement activities. However, during DUI checkpoints and saturation patrols, officers are paying more attention to all signs of impairment, not just alcohol. Distracted driving has emerged as a new and significant safety concern in the 21st century. It's not a new concept, but the numbers and complexities of distraction have grown, which has created a greater concern for all road users. Focused enforcement on distracted driving laws, especially during the National Distracted Driving Awareness Month in April, are included as part of the STEP grant activities. Education about the dangers of distracted driving behavior is provided through focused enforcement, through multimedia public awareness campaigns, programs for teen parents, as well as businesses. Emergency medical service grants are for the emergency medical service providers like fire departments. One application should be submitted for the needs of the whole region. The application should contain the appropriate equipment and medical supplies that are necessary for them to respond and extract the motor vehicle collision victim in a timely manner. Specialized equipment, such as hydraulic extrication tools, airbag lift systems, and stabilization gear, can be purchased through grant funds. The Office of Traffic Safety grants also support appropriate EMS training that is provided by the vendor for the extrication equipment. As you can see, with motorcycle fatalities, California has continued to follow the national trends, and we have seen a decrease from 2017 through to 2019. Highly publicized motorcycle safety enforcement activities are conducted to target impaired driving and riding, as well as primary collision factor violations by riders and other vehicle drivers that contribute to motorcycle collisions. Public awareness efforts and outreach at a variety of motorcycle events provide information about training and encourage people to help educate both the riders and other vehicles. The Occupant Protection Program encourages enforcement and education of occupant protection laws to reduce highway deaths and injuries from individuals who are riding unrestrained in motor vehicles. Some of the activities that are funded through these programs include the high visibility enforcement activities, such as Click It or Ticket, education and public awareness events, such as child safety seat checkup events and classes, safe senior driver programs, as well as training and certification programs, such as the NHTSA CPS training certification. As you can see, both pedestrian and bicycle fatalities were increasing for many years. There are many theories as to why this trend was occurring, including more people are using active transportation as a healthier and more environmentally friendly way of travel. Infrastructure needs to adapt to this trend, and the same and distractions that face drivers are also occurring with walkers and bicyclists. Scooters are a new risk that have been added to both bicyclists and pedestrians. Everybody needs to share the road and go safely. These are the priorities within the pedestrian and bicycle safety programs. These include high visibility enforcement activities, education and public awareness, such as bike rodeos, walking field trips, presentations, as well as walking and bicycle assessments. OTS funds UC Berkeley to provide walking and bicycle assessments for communities. The assessments provide feedback on deficiencies and recommendations for improvements to make the community safer for pedestrians and bicyclists. Next up, we have our traffic records program. Police traffic services are an essential part of California's traffic safety program. Our Selective Traffic Enforcement Program grants, also known as STEP grants, will continue to focus on DUI enforcement, primary collision factor violations, distracted driving, motorcycle safety operations, bike and ped enforcement, and education. The traffic records improvement projects include the initial purchase or upgrade of an existing electronic crash reporting program with crash data and capabilities to include electronic submission of those completed crash reports to CHP SWITers.
Thanks, Nicole. I wanted to discuss our OTS media and marketing that is available to grantees and even those that do not have grants with us as a one-stop shop for informational materials. The idea behind this is we can go and have a uniform, consistent message across all of California and with all of our traffic safety partners, and that as a grantee, we are happy to assist you in social media posts, videos, graphics, informational materials, with the idea being not reinventing the wheel and doing a bunch of different regional campaigns and safety messages, but having one uniform message for different traffic safety issues that we're facing. So you can visit our website, gosafelyca.org/toolkits, and there's a variety of materials available where all you need to do is print. So for grants where you are looking at budgeting for educational materials, we can help with a lot of the design work, and that could help lower the cost and really get grantees to only put up the cost for printing materials. A lot of different designs and messages that are available to you. A lot of things that we can also do is co-branding. Again, that goes back to lowering some of those direct costs with contractual services or a lot of the design work and developing the materials. These are statewide messages and materials that are available for you, and all you have to do is print or share on social media. And that's really been the focus for us, is trying to create that uniform, consistent message across the board and have a look and feel that shows the whole state is behind going safely, right? So a couple of examples here from Bell Gardens and then San Luis Obispo County on some social campaigns that we had done, and we're happy to assist adding logos, developing new materials. If you have any ideas for us, we're certainly happy to help in the development of those materials. You can follow us on social media at OTS_CA and Go Safely CA on Twitter and Instagram. Tag us in posts, share your content. We're always open to ideas. This is my contact info. Contact me anytime. And we're, again, happy to assist you in any way we can to really get that message out there. It's been a weird year. It's been a tragic year. We've been affected a lot by COVID-19, and it's really changed how we get that messaging out. A lot of it has gone to a digital format, and we want to provide as many tools as possible in furthering that education message, because we all have the same goal, right? Saving lives and reaching 0 deaths. So with that, I'll send it back over to Nicole to talk about some of the grant criteria selection.
Thank you, Tim, for all that great information. The grant selection process is a highly competitive process. Some of the questions we ask when reviewing a grant application include things such as, how will the program improve traffic safety? What impact will it have? Does the data support the problem identified? Where does the city or county rank in comparison to other cities or counties within that same population? Are there other traffic problems that this city should be working on? Is the program new or is it already being done? And are they working with other agencies? If an agency has previously been funded by the Office of Traffic Safety, we look at whether or not claims and reports were submitted on time. Were all the activities completed? Was the agency responsive and easy to communicate with? Do the identified problems fall within of the OTS and NHTSA priority program areas? Keep in mind that grant funding is recommended by coordinators, reviewed by management based on the available and projected resources, and ultimately approved by NHTSA. Most law enforcement agency grants are funded based on the seriousness of the problem identification. Although OTS checks to make sure that the items requested are in the budget and allowable, everyone is responsible for following federal guidelines and making sure requested items are allowable. You can check the OTS Grant Program Manual for more information. Is there a potential for success in the time period that's been allotted? Think about the likelihood of success and potential traffic safety impacts of your programs. Continuing on with the grant selection criteria, OTS has to ensure that the costs are allowable and that the proposed solution has effective strategies, shows value, provides the agency's qualifications, as well as highlights their ability to become a sustainable program. We also look at partnerships and collaborations between the agency and others in their surrounding area. This screen is an example of what the rankings look like on the OTS website. Before applying, please take a look at your local data as well as the OTS rankings. OTS focuses on cities with significant fatalities and/or collision data. Everything we do is data-driven, from grant applications to placement of DUI checkpoints or locations for enforcement operations and education. Each of your communities and agencies are different. You have different problems, and because of that, you should use a strategic approach that is data-driven to be as effective as possible with the limited resources that we are all working with. Analyze your local crash data and look at your OTS rankings to find out where your problem areas are, because that's what you should be focusing on. When it comes to the applications, your problem identification is very important. It should indicate your local collision data in comparison to SWITR's and identify the difference. Your narrative should tell us what you'll be doing to target the problems that are specific to your area. This includes the 5 W's. Who was involved? What are the types of crashes that are happening? Where are the crashes taking place? When are these crashes happening? And lastly, why? Is there confusion in the roadway configuration or possible engineering problems that need to be addressed? To apply for an OTS grant, all applicants will use the Grant Electronic Management System, also known as GEMS. For those who are currently users in GEMS, you can log in and begin that application process. For those agencies or individuals who do not have an account within GEMS, new accounts can be added electronically by visiting the OTS website at the link listed below. An email will be sent to all new users to create a password and attain access to GIMS. For the 2022 OTS applications, you will access the applications online at www.ots.ca.gov. Again, please remember that all applications must be submitted electronically by January 31st, 2021. Thank you again for joining us today for our virtual 2022 grant application workshop. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to the virtual training to get any and all of your questions answered. Please take note of OTS contact information listed on the final slide. You will also find a listing on the OTS website of grant program coordinators who specialize in each area. Your coordinators are here to assist you with any questions you may have through this grant application process. We look forward to working with you all, and good luck on your 2022 grant applications.